What is up, guys? Delboy here. So some good news coming out of the WBO. They have made David Lemieux #1 contender for Billy Joe Saunders' WBO middleweight title. And the WBO have issued Saunders and Lemieux a deadline of November the 11th to strike a deal. This fight has been mentioned and asked for quite some time, but now the WBO have got involved and made Lemieux a mandatory challenger. It's looking a hell of a lot more realistic, and I think this is a really good fight and one that I'd like to see. Since the Golovkin fight, Lemieux has came back quite well. He's beaten Curtis Stevens by a highlight reel knockout. He beat Glenn Tapia, and he's also got a couple of other wins. So I'm pretty sure Lemieux has won 4 straight since the Golovkin loss. So he's coming into a good bit of form, and you could easily make the argument that Lemieux would be the best fighter Billy Joe Saunders has fought, or the toughest challenge he's fought, you know. Really good fight. I think it's a great clash of styles. You know, obviously Billy Joe Saunders is the boxer. He is the guy who likes to keep it on the outside, uses jab, uses hand speed, uses reflexes, and uses technical ability. Whereas sort of David Lemieux likes to come forward, look for those big shots, work the body, and come up with that big left hook. He's the knockout puncher here, you know. He's going to be coming forward. Saunders is going to be on the back foot, and it's going to be like a game of cat and mouse. I think it's a great clash of styles, actually, and I think it's the type of fight that Billy Joe Saunders needs, to be quite honest. Since he's won the title, he's not been active enough, and I still think he's looking for that credible win to validate himself as a world champion. I think Billy Joe Saunders has got a couple of good wins on the resume, and I do think he gets underrated by people. You know, he beat Chris Eubank Jr., he beat Andy Lee, he's got some good wins domestically. Billy Joe Saunders doesn't have a terrible resume, but in recent years, in the last sort of 2 years, his career has stalled, you know. Since winning the title in 2015, December 2015, he's only fought twice, and he fought Arthur Akavov in a terrible performance, and he fought William Monroe Jr. in a pretty dull fight. So since winning the title, Billy Joe hasn't really sort of elevated himself to the next level, and I really do think a win over Lemieux would gain him a lot more credit and a lot more credibility, because Lemieux at worst is a top 10 contender, and he is a very dangerous puncher, so he would pose some threat there. I think it's a really good fight. Stylistically, I think it's a great fight. I think it's almost a 50-50 fight. You know, the boxer versus a puncher. A lot of people are still not sold on Saunders. You know, despite him beating Eubank, despite him beating Andy Lee, you know, he's done some good things, but like I said, he's not really capitalised on winning that world title, and I think this is the type of fight he needs. He was talking about the Golovkin versus Canelo winner. Obviously, that fight was a draw, so those two guys are probably going to fight each other again. So both of those guys are out for options. He was talking about Amir Khan. Nobody wants to see that. To me, I wanted to see Billy Joe Saunders fight a top contender after William Monroe Jr. That's if he couldn't fight the Golovkin versus Canelo winner, which obviously he can't. And names I had in mind were guys like Danny Jacobs, David Lemieux, guys like that. So if this fight came off, I'd be very happy. I think it would be a good mandatory challenger. You know, sometimes we see these governing bodies make guys mandatory who have never beat anybody, but Lemieux is a contender, he's a name, he's dangerous, and I think it's a good fight. I hope this fight gets pushed, I hope it gets made, and I see it as a 50-50 fight. I mean, if we had a Billy Joe Saunders with a gas tank, I would pick Billy Joe to win, but we all know Billy Joe Saunders fades in fights, so it's a hard one to predict. Billy Joe is clearly the better boxer, but Lemieux's power and pressure cannot be underestimated. So it's a great fight. Hopefully it gets made. This is the type of fight I want to see Billy Joe in. What do you guys think? Peace.